now coming to optional, that's actually the one of the most important decision that you have to make during your preparation, right? So why did you choose sociology as your optional?
Right, sir. Since I was a chemistry student all throughout my life, but the thing is, when I was reading the chemistry syllabus, I thought that maybe it's not aligned with the demand of GS and other papers because you have to read in silo from the GS, and I wanted something which I could do along with my GS. And sociology, I had a good amount of interest in it. Always been interested in. I used to have conversations with my father about a lot of things, and so back of the mind, I had a lot of interest in sociology. And when I was choosing my option, I was a bit skeptical about sociology or philosophy. I chose sociology because it was so much aligned with the GS. Second, there was a lot of availability of good material in the market, and then I went about the hardcore preparation in it. I was not like I read books, I read texts, and then I made notes, and then I improved with answers. So I had issues with the toppers sort of thing. So I tried to sort of read the text myself, and that actually was a bit good experience because sociology was something I was doing very consciously. कि अगर even if I have to study for 14 hours, I would not be like bothered by it. It's sociology ultimately, and I liked it. That's why I chose it as a subject. So that was the reason, sir.
So what was your actual experience when you started dealing? Because many students select sociology because toppers have told, or syllabus is very concise and so easy or scoring. But what was your actual experience when you started studying sociology?
Right, sir. So, sir, I made my idea about what are the resources that I'll be following. So, I read Columbus, I read Ritzer, I also read IGNU material, I also read Nagla for paper two, I read some other material I would have read, I don't know. So, it was like completely old school preparation which is there. So, I made notes out of them, I made notes for each and every topic, and then I improved those notes. What I did consciously different was I had a newspaper diary also. I had devised a diary for current affairs, and I had divided it across the syllabus. And whenever I used to come across anything in the newspaper, I would jot it down in that diary. So I had two set of notes. One is the static, and this is the dynamic notes, which were loaded with current affairs and contemporary affairs. Because in sociology, you don't have to quote like very current thing. You could give an example which is knowing people. People know that. So contemporary example can also work. So that was the idea, and my experience with sociology, reading sociology, was that I was in the mind that I will complete this foundation palette, and I will complete the syllabus, create notes, and write answers. So when I was done with sociology, I started with GS and I started with the answer writing of sociology. So I used to read GS in the day and I used to write answers in the night of sociology. So it was a gradual process of improvement, and your mentorship was very much helpful in that. But yeah, that was my idea of how to go about like the optional stuff.
Okay, Ayush, now this year you scored 274 mark in sociology, which is very good score. And more than that, we need to compare it with the last year, it's around 220. So almost 50 marks improvement you can see in this year. So what do you think actually made the difference?
Right, sir. So, last year, I believe, barring a medical mishap which happened during my optional paper, I developed a kidney stone pain during paper. I could not write for half an hour, and there was some medical issues which happened, and because of which I got less marks. But having said that, my idea was to improve upon the presentation and structuring of the answers because I knew I had the content in mind. My conceptual clarity was there, and whatever theories I had read, be it the Marx, Weber, or the Cream, and any other thinker, I was good with them. So what I changed consciously was that I would not dump thinkers' names. I would just not throw it like in the face of the examiner just for the sake of it. I would contextualize the answer as much as I can, and I would improve the visibility of the content. For example, if a question, because nowadays the questions are sometimes very analytical, they're asking some sort of applications. For example, gig workers and others. So you don't have ready-made thinkers on it, even if you try to. And at that very examination situation, it might not come to your head. So what I did, I made a list of keywords, sociological keywords. I made a list of books of thinkers which I could write. I made a list of sociological theories and subsequent their thinkers. So what I used to do was I used to analyze a question based on these pointers, and I would generate points over there. As to, for example, if I am talking about family, so I would try to give the current scenario also, in terms of if the change is not asked. So I'll, in the conclusion, I will say that okay, there are changes due to globalization and other factors which are coming in, and I'll try to give a futuristic aspect of it as well, as a conclusion, as a like broader perspective in the end. So those were small things which I tweaked in my answers, because I did not want the answers to become very too academic. I use sociological theories, I use sociological terminology just to make it sociological answer rather than a GS answer. But I also incorporated my GS elements, like, for example, if I could quote data, if I could quote, for example, articles, because those are authentic sources and there is no harm in it. And I mix and match the thinkers from paper one and paper two, and gave Indian society perspectives if that is relevant in that question. And also, like, for example, in thinkers questions, I focused on the keywords of those theories. For example, if it's Karl Marx historical materialism, I'll talk about the relations of production, forces of production, and like the process of imagization, polarization, homogenization leading to polarization. Sorry if I'm correcting, like pronouncing it rightly. So, I mean, those were the keywords which I believed that the examiner would want in my answer. So I started thinking like an examiner as to what will that person want in an answer, and I tried to incorporate that, and I highlighted, I boxed those kind of keywords or arguments, and I guess that was one thing which actually did help me this year.
Okay, now during your sociology preparation, you were also associated with Civil 360 for the classes, mentorship, and test series. So, how does that help you to get that jump from 220 to 270, almost 50 marks?
Yes, sir. It was like very important and very enriching as well. Uh, your inputs on my answers was very good, and you like told me in terms of how structuring could be done, how it can be improved, and those were the things which I tried in my answers, and that actually gave a lot of dividends. So thank you so much for that. And I mean, yes, sir.
One more thing that I want to ask is with respect to answer writing, sociological perspective. You'll see the question, write a short note on sociological perspective. So, what do you mean by the sociological analysis, sociological perspective? How it is different from, see, poverty, I can see from GS, essay, and in sociology also, child labor or women empowerment, I can see in both sides also. So, how is it different and how you structure those answers in sociology?
Yes, sir. So that's very interesting, and these are very recurring themes as well. You write a short note on this and that, sociological perspective on this and that. So I had a templates. I had few templates in it. So, for example, if I talk about poverty, so I'll use it. I use a structural functionalist, Marxist, and then feminist, and that was one template, postmodern thought, and I'll use the thinkers to define it or to analyze it. Second was to use social institutions, how social institutions and stakeholders, how poverty is different for women, how poverty is different for elderly. We talk about feminization of poverty. I would bring in the the sort of pauperization theory, how Marx has talked about poverty. So I would use sociological theories and thinkers, and also sociological processes like urbanization, how is that leading to it, how migration has led to it. So depending on poverty and what is the question, so I would contextualize my sociological knowledge and whatever sociological terms or theories which I could use to bring in a sociological perspective. It was not like just dumb thinkers. No, it was give arguments, theories, keywords, sociological jargons, and make it more in terms of institution based. So be it like I would talk about changes in the culture, how poverty, there is a culture of poverty, Oscar Lewis idea, and like and other kind of things. So different varied ideas of poverty. I would not like keep it like yeah, ye hai, aisa hai, this is the factors which are leading to it, and those are the things. So I would try to give a varied idea. If I talk about Marxist idea, so it's like a capitalist imposed poverty on the proletariat, and similarly there are like false class consciousness and stuff like that. So I try to consciously bring in sociological terms and theories just to make it more sociological answer, because yes, poverty can be a GS answer, it can be an essay answer, and all of that will be different. So that was my go-to, sir.
Yeah, so how about this regular answer writing? How much it is required, regular answer writing, evaluation from your mentor? In fact, how much from our side it helped you when you're writing the answers and evaluation? How important is regular
Yes,
answer writing and evaluation?
so answer writing is a verb. It's a process. It's not like something which you'll do at the one day you will become a pro, and it is a gradual improvement. What happens in when you write daily, for example, if you are like writing PYQs, or if you're writing daily some few answers, and you get the evaluation, you get the mentors feedback, so that helps a lot to improve on a daily basis or a weekly basis, that you can like mix and match it, and what all mix and match in terms of what all you can try, what all you can bring the novelty in the answers. And since a lot of students are writing sociology, there are so a lot of students who are taking sociology optional, so how can your answer stand out among them? So those that becomes very much important, and mentorship helps in that aspect, that you sit with somebody who knows how to write an answer, and that person can tell you as to okay, you can tweak this thing here, you can do this kind of thing here, you can improve your conclusion by this, talk about the like broader aspect of this whole topic in the conclusion, give a futuristic aspect of it, relate it with Indian society, give the criticism part. So your inputs were like on those ideas, and those were very helpful as to how like even smallest of things, even if you can find out something some way where you can improve half mark, 1 mark extra, so that 5 out of 10 becomes a 6 out of 10 or 6.5 out of 10. So that is the game changer in sociology, I believe, and in every GS topic as well, but in more so in sociology, because themes repeat over time. If you analyze the PYQs, you know themes will repeat. There will be questions on Marx, there will be questions on Weber, and everybody would be knowing about Weber's theory of like PSC, Protestant ethic, and spirit of capitalism. But how can your answer stand out? So that is a gradual process, and with answer writing, with gradual like over improvement and improvement, that becomes a habit, and then FLT comes, and you can like use FLTs for your timing, so that you can complete a paper in time, and you can like think from a 3 hours perspective. So that was very much important, and thank you so much, sir, for your guidance in the entire preparation. So yes, sir.
Oh, okay, Ayush. Many students, in fact, choose sociology very randomly. So, what should someone seriously think about before they choose sociology as optional?
Right, sir. So I believe first of all they should go through the syllabus as to what all is there in the syllabus. Second is that they need to understand, my basic idea of choosing an optional was, if I'm forced to read or study for an optional for 14 hours, will I be able to do it without nagging? You should have that much of interest in your optional, because optional should not become a burden on you, कि अरे अब तो ये भी पढ़ना बचा है, and like I have to do this much of GS, and then I have to also do sociology. I was the other person. I was more looking forward to like okay, I am bored in the GS, now I'll be doing sociology and I'll be happy, because I had genuine interest in it. I would liked reading it. I liked reading about it. So if somebody is coming here for like studying sociology, first of all you should have interest in it, and you should be very much structured in terms of the resources that you follow, the mentorship that you're taking. Because reading sociology, understanding sociology, and getting marks in sociology are very different things. Because a lot of people are reading, a lot of people are studying it, a lot of chunk of UPSC aspirant have sociology optional, but not all of them are scoring. And ultimately, you need a score to get a rank. So you should have that mindset or topper's mindset ki I'll need marks in it. How can I improve marks? Don't just go for like knowledge. People just like collect thinkers, and like list of thinkers, and they dump it in terms of answers. I do not subscribe to that idea. You should understand as to how you can improve your marks and how you can improve your content and presentation. So that should be the idea. And if that all of this is there, then of course, please come to sociology. It's a very good optional, and it has given me my rank. And
So, Ayush, before we conclude, if someone's starting their UPSC preparation today, what would be your top three pieces of advice to them?
right, so first of all, I'll say please have a good support system with you, and having a good support system is very important because there'll be difficult days. There are bound to be difficult days, and this preparation journey can be long. So you need to be more realistic. It's good to be optimist, but you have to be realist as well at the same time. Second, understand what this exam is all about. Don't look it in terms of prelims, mains, and interview. Look in terms of how this whole examination demands out of you. Are you able to do that much of work or not? And thirdly, if you have made up your mind, you have your why. Why do you want to join civil services? Why do you want to do it? Then structure your preparation and constantly reevaluate yourself, because you should not get lost in the preparation. There's so many distractions. There are so many things which will take up your time, your energy. You have limited time. You have limited energy. Be productive as much as you can, and this examination is not about just hard work or smart work. It's about doing the right amount of work at the right amount of time, in the right amount of manner, in the right amount of direction. And then you require a lot of luck as well at your expense. And when all of this is aligned, then things work out for you. So you need to prepare for every single thing. I remember this year I scored only 84 marks in essay, and despite being very good at essay, always in my initial attempt, I scored 123. And this year, wrote better essays than last year and still got 84 marks. So, and despite 84 marks, I scored 804 in overall GS, overall mains. So, that one paper could have messed up my rank very easily because 84 is a very less score. But other papers, because I had worked a lot for all the papers, all the seven papers, other six papers actually compensated for it. So you need to prepare very, very holistically. You cannot leave anything undone. So that will be my advice. And if somebody is starting, I wish you all the very best, all the very best. And I wish that you will soon be on the other side of this examination. And thank you, sir.
Now, for students who are choosing sociology as their optional, what would you tell them? Will you recommend our classes and mentorship to them?
Yes, sir. I'll wholeheartedly agree. And for them, I'll say that please go through the syllabus, read the PYQs, and streamline your sources that you will be following. And once you are done with all of it, start answer writing and get evaluation from a person who knows things, and that will help you a lot in the long run. And I wholeheartedly agree, and that your mentorship will be very, very fruitful for people. So because getting third person's expert opinion on your answers is very important in terms of improvement, because it's a gradual process and it will happen with time. So those will be the things which I'll say. So
Thank you so much, Ayush. Thank you and all the best.
thank you so much, sir, for having me. And it was a great experience, sir. Thank you so much.